Steph, my wonderful sister, you, most days, I'm going to guess 93, 95% of your mornings, depending on what's going on, you wake up in a pretty good mood. You wake up with energy, with excitement for what you're going to do. And how do you think you do that?
I wake up in a good mood, I think because of personality of who I am. I think it's probably more nature versus nurture. I am a morning person. I wake up excited to do my day, and I am grateful to be awake. Like I like mornings. Breakfast is my favorite meal. I like waking up. Yeah, and I like mornings.
How much do you believe, because you said you're sort of, you're excited, you're like looking forward to the day. How much of how you're spending your time, right? I know if you're working, or I know you were studying in university, now you are in a new profession, being a teacher. How much do you think that looking forward to what you're going to do contributes to how you feel when you wake up?
I think it highly contributes to it. I think back to a time where I was in a job where I wasn't enjoying myself going into work, and those were days where it was harder to get out of bed. Like those were the days where you thought to yourself, oh, like, can I call in sick? Like, you don't want to go. You don't want to get up.
Right.
So I think what you have planned for the day is definitely contributes to how you feel about your day starting out.
Right.
Yeah.
You always have had a very easygoing, laid back approach to life.
Mm-hmm.
Your feathers don't get ruffled too easily. Mm-hmm. You go with the flow. There's just this ease, and I wish I had more of it, for sure, especially when it comes to parenting, especially. What advice do you have for someone who's not like that, who's maybe more uptight, gets triggered easy? Mm-hmm. You know, what advice do you have for someone that really has an intention to be more relaxed and more laid back?
I think it comes to managing stress. As a younger mother, I was way more likely to be triggered and way more likely to yell at my kid. Now that I'm older, I think I know how to manage stress better. So I think I have taken the time to reflect on my life and make it so that I am not as stressed out, and taken the time to build a life that I enjoy, and so that it has to be a pretty big item to stress me out. I think I take I make sure that I always am keeping a perspective on what the size of the problem is. Mm-hmm. There's oftentimes I'll catch myself about to react to something, and then I think this doesn't deserve a reaction, and I don't react. I just think, oh, no big deal. You know what I mean? And kind of just try to change directions in a calm way instead of it letting whatever's bothering me actually get to me. Because I think I am very aware of my position in the world, and that my problems are very minor to what they could be. Mm. I don't think the problems I have are problems that are worth getting so upset over. Like, it's just usually some small things. There could be, I think I always have known that things could be a lot worse. So I think I'm pretty easygoing when it comes to problems. Mm-hmm. As for letting things roll off my back, I think I'm someone who I really have never put in too much value or putting too much power into other people's hands. I really don't put a lot of emphasis on what other people think of me. And I've always been a very introspective person and very analytical of what I think. And so I think I focus more on what I think rather than what other people think, because that's just, again, I think that's kind of how I was born. I was that person that I think a lot about what I think. I don't really think about what other people think. That's sometimes right. It's a pro and a con to every situation.
You have redesigned your life so that there's less stress.
Mm-hmm.
And I believe that people might not think or know that they actually have a lot of choices to redesign,
mm-hmm.
right? So first is that awareness of, oh, wow, there's a lot of stress in my life. I need to pause, evaluate, and then what do I change mm-hmm. so that just from the time I wake up to the time to go to bed, there is less stress,
mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Which, I mean, I definitely went down that journey. That's the reason why I left my corporate job and wanted to work from home and be around the kids more, because I was at a point where it was too much
mm-hmm.
and it wasn't fun,
mm-hmm.
right?
Yeah.
So what advice do you have for people who are in a lower point, whether it be because of they'd be going through a really bad breakup. They could be having a challenge with kids. They could not like the job that they're in. If they're in a place where they feel stuck, not happy, and like, you said it, just like, oh, I'll just sort of call in sick, or I'd rather kind of alluding to, I just wish I could stay in bed. Whatever's going on, I don't want to get up and deal with it.
You don't want to participate.
Yeah. So what advice do you have for people that are in that place right now?
Reach out, ask for help. Be willing to admit it, like say it first, right? That's where it starts with, is just even admit it to yourself, write it down. Like, I am unhappy. Just admitting it is the first, I think, problem, or taking accountability for where you are in your life is obviously, I think, something that needs to happen. So
like
accepting and being accountable for what the choices you're making and where you've gotten to so far. You need to like take accountability for that. I got myself here. I can get myself out of it. So if you are in a place where you're not happy, just know that change is inevitable. So I believe in obviously everything being connected in our world, and I like to live my life in a way of balance. So if you're in a down period, you have to remind yourself that the up is coming, because everything always goes in circles, right? We see the sun and the moon every day. Seasons come and go, like everything is always coming and going. And so you are part of the world and you're connected to the world. So you will have an up period eventually. And so I like to just think about how when you're in those up periods, you really have to enjoy it. And when you're in those down periods, you have to stick through it and you have to keep going, because those downs are what give you that. It's like you wouldn't have an up if you didn't have a down. You wouldn't
know what the up feels like.
You wouldn't know if it was always, like it's like the light and the dark, the up and the down. There's a law of polarity, right? In our world, there's the opposite. So if you're in a down right now, just know that it's not forever and you will eventually get out of it soon and get to know yourself. That's something that when I was in a really dark period in my life, I realized that I was disconnected from myself. So you just have to get to know yourself and get to know what is going to make you feel better. For me, it's music, taking a bath. I like quiet. I like to get away from people. I like to go somewhere where there's zero people. Just getting to know what is going to make you feel better.
Super good advice. Okay, I'll ask you one last question. Because I get asked this often, I'd love to hear your thoughts on this, is what advice do you have for when you wake up and you're not necessarily in a really low period of your life, but you wake up and you're just in a bad mood. You're off. You're not feeling positive. What do you do in the morning, sort of that first half hour, first hour, to change your perspective, to change your outlook and turn the day around?
I'm trying to think back. So I definitely use music. If I'm having a day where I'm like, oh, today's gonna be rough, or oh, I don't really want to be here, I always kind of just put on music quietly in the background as I'm washing my face, brushing my teeth, putting on makeup. And I like to put on music that's like upbeat. Like I'll put on some Stevie Wonder, or like just that music that you
Makes
can't
you feel
help,
good.
yeah, but kind of move to and smile. And I try, something I picked up in the last year or two is just to be more mindful. So to pick up on things, like I've started a gratitude journal. So I do in the morning, I try to list 3 things I'm grateful for, and then you write a goal for the day. And it's usually 4 words. So it's not even 3 minutes. It takes a minute, like it takes very quick. And I write that down. And I find that when I set that goal and when I write things that I'm mindful of, or write things that I'm grateful for, I tend to be more mindful of things that make me grateful. So I look for those moments in that morning routine where there's like ordinary miracles. Just like those, like driving to work, you'll get on the road and you'll just see like the way the clouds look and you're like, wow, like, thank you. You know what I mean? Like you just have to find those little bit of moments. My mom, our mom, her advice, or I don't know where she got it from, but I think it's stuck with me ever since she's told me, is that life is made up of everyday moments. That's what life is. So if you can't find the joy in just those everyday moments, you can't just be waiting, right, for that big, great day of celebration.
Or like the vacation at the end of the year.
Can't. It's like you have to find the joy in those moments. Like I find joy in just like looking up and seeing the cloud formation. I find joy in just like seeing the smile on my child's face. I find joy in that first sip of like coffee every morning. Like you find it, right? Like that's life. Like that is where happiness comes from, is being mindful and aware and in the present moment of those little gifts that are presented every single day.
I couldn't agree more. And you, with the gratitude practice and then plus the music, you're rewiring your brain to notice more things to be grateful for, because you're starting off with that practice and bringing attention to it. Then your perspective on the world is changing because of that. So
it's like, what path do you want to get down, right? Like you're getting on the path. Like I want to go down this way. Instead, I want to start off my day complaining about something. No, I want to start my day off on this way, being thankful for the things I do have.
I just thought of one more question.
Okay.
So you recently made the decision to get off social media. So how has that affected your well-being? How has that changed your life, of making the decision to get off a lot of the social media channels and stop scrolling and looking?
I think it hasn't been that long, so I haven't seen any major impacts yet. I do notice more now mindful or people absent-minded scrolling. Like I notice now when people are constantly grabbing for their phone and need their phone in their hand. For the first week that I was off, I found myself doing it. Like just picking up my phone and opening it, and like for no reason. Why did I, right? It's just like that habit of like needing that thing in front of you. So as soon as I got off it, I was very aware of how addicted I was to it, that I wasn't aware of it when I was addicted to it.
Yeah, makes sense.
I also, I guess now that you like, I haven't really thought about it, but now that I think about it, I think I am not comparing myself to others as much, because I'm not constantly looking at other people's lives, like snapshots of other people's lives, which is the highlight reel of their life.
Right.
So I feel like I'm definitely a lot more able to curb my materialistic wants in the world, because I'm not comparing myself to what other people have that I don't have.
Right. And I would think, I'm still on social media. I actually use it a lot for Arrive and Happy. But I would think that, and you could tell me if this is true, that, I mean, by not comparing, you're just more in your life. Like, right? There isn't, like you said, the pockets of looking at what other people have or what they're doing, or you're just moving through your life. And I know all the research shows how much it affects your mindset, how difficult it is. You know, I know for teenagers, it really, really can cause depression for a lot of different reasons, right? So just closing out all of that, I'm going to call it noise, or, you know, it's not really
junk. It's junk. It's stuff that's not really serving you. like I've gone back onto Facebook once in the last month or two, and I really find myself being like, this is junk. Like, why
There's nothing
there's
really valuable.
nothing really valuable here. Yeah.
Interesting. So maybe you'll be inspired to also.
I would definitely challenge you to at least start with a day. Like, don't go on social media for a day and try to be mindful of how many times you pick up your phone and automatically or start to write Instagram or write Facebook or
click on one of those icons.
Right. And just at least if you do one day of how mindful, like just be mindful of that moment that you go to it and gravitate to it.
Yes.
And start to be aware.
Yes, absolutely. Well, thank you for chatting with me, and
you
shared a lot of great tips, and I'm honored to talk with you.
Thank you for being my sister and for spreading happiness around the world.
I'm trying.
Bye.